Hebrew History and Prophetic Books 4. From the overthrow of the house of Ahab to the captivity of the 10 tribes, AM 3120 to 3283, BCE 884 to 721. The civil disorders became from this time more frequent in the kingdom of Israel. There were great wickedness and demoralization, conspiracies, assassinations, and usurpations. Characterized a great part of this period. What period is not characterized by that? But if you look at the majority, maybe you can say that that's not the case for any period. Yet, there were also some symptoms of religious reformation. The prophet Hosea arose about this time and preached powerfully with the same effect against the idolatry and general sinfulness of the nation. By the idolatry, they meant the idea that God had a son and stuff like this, but of course the Christians don't accept that as a later on thing. But the Baal cult, one of the specific things they talked about is the cults of the ideas of the daughters and sons in particular, intercessor deities that died or sacrificed, or, that was one of the more common ones. The style and character of his preaching are fully seen in the book of his prophecy, which should be read in connection with the historical narrative. Towards the close of the period, there was a manifest improvement in the morals of the nation and in the character of the government. Probably the last of the kings was, in his general character, the best, but the corruption had become too great, and the health and strength of the nation had become exhausted. In the Assyrian invasion, his name is subdued, and the people carried captive. The Jewish kingdom is involved in these calamities, but to a less extent. During this period is the epoch of the Greek Olympiads. Rome also was founded by Romulus, and the kings of Judah, remember, no J sound in Aramea, R in the later Hebrew, but Joash, BCE 873 to 833, Amaziah 833 to 804, Azariah or Uzziah 804 to 752, Jotham 752 to 736, Ahaz 736 to 720, and the kings of Israel, Jehu, BCE 877 to 849, Jehoahaz 849 to 832, Jehoash 832 to 816, Jeroboam II 816 to 775, Zechariah 775, Shallum 775, Menahem 775 to 765, Pekahiah 765 to 763, Pekah 763 to 743, Hoshea 743 to 734. What was the principal condition of the treaty which Jehu made with the adherents of Ahab's family? 2 Kings 10, verse 1 through 7, given an account of what he did to the worshippers of Baal. 18 through 28. Now, see, all these prophets spoke against there being another Lord beside God, before, after, other than, So no plurality. Plurality of qualities. We know God in this world, but did Jehu maintain his character as a worshiper of the true God? What was the consequence? What disaster befell the kingdom? Verse 29 through 36. And there's more than just what you worship and what you don't worship. Your deeds as a ruler certainly play a role. What disorderly proceedings took place in the kingdom of Judah about this time? Chapter 11, verse 1 through 3. How was the royal line saved from extinction? Give an account of the counter-revolution, verse 4 through 21. 2 Chronicles 23. How old was the new king? How were the offices of the kingdom administered with so young a ruler? What reforms were instituted and what improvements made under the regency of Jehoiada? 2 Kings 12, 1 through 16. What change took place in the conduct of the king after the death of the Jehoiada? What flagrant exhibition of ingratitude did he display? 2 Chronicles 24, verse 15 through 22. What disasters followed? Verses 23 to 27. 2 Kings 12, verse 17 through 21. Now, kufar, the Arabic term, same root as kippur, but in the Aramea, the covering. So it's somebody who covers the truth, but in some cases the word means ingratitude. So I'm not sure if you're seeing something like that here, but R can be can be used in the sense of covering, like you cover you cover your sins by making an atonement or something like that. But who succeeded Jehu? His character and the consequences to the kingdom. 2 Kings 13, 1 through 9. Give some account of the reign of Joash, the interview between him and the sick prophet, death of the latter, and the miracle at his grave, 14 through 21. Who succeeded Joash to Judah? His character, his military success, and his relations with Israel, 14, 1 through 7. 2 Chronicles 25, 1 through 12. Give some account of the remainder of Amaziah's reign. What disasters overtook him? 2 Chronicles 25, 14 through 28. 2 Kings 14, 8 through 20. Give an account of the reign of Jeroboam II, 23 through 29. I don't think in schools anymore. I hear the new generation is not learning Roman numerals in school, so they may not be able to read some of this. Character bills is 14, 1 through 7, 2 Chronicles 25, 1 through 12. Give some account of the remainder of Amaziah's reign. What disasters overtook him? 2 Chronicles 25, 14 through 28. 2 Kings 14, 8 through 20. Give an account of the reign of Jeroboam II, 23 through 29, who now reigned in Judah, his character in the early part of his reign, what disastrous change and the consequences. 2 Chronicles 26, who was his successor, character and exploits of his reign. 27, 2 Kings 15, 32 through 38, give the main events in the kingdom of Israel from this time to the overthrow of the nation. How many revolutions and usurpations took place? 2 Kings 8 through 31, 17, 1 through 23. With whom was the land repeopled, and what was the effect? 24 through 31. Who was the king in Judah at this time? His character and the character of his administration. How did he compare religiously with his predecessors? What invasion and war took place, and what was the result? 2 Kings 16, 1 through 9. 2 Chronicles 28, 6 through 16. How did this reign terminate? 2 Kings 16, 10 through 20. And in Tanakh, there's less books than in the Old Testament because some of these are combined into one.